One question that came up now, because you talked so much about human capital,
Hmm.
there is, well, there's a lot of people think that they have a calling.
Hmm.
And so my question is, I really always think about humanity.
Hmm.
And I have this idea of that, or I have this impression that maybe humanity has a
Hmm.
calling as such. We as
Hmm.
humanity, not just we as individuals.
Hmm.
And now we are in a crisis. It might get even severe, not the
Yeah.
pandemic, but the economic crisis. So, if humanity had a calling, what do you think it would be?
To help your brother and sister. That's it. To just do. Um, if you see someone that needs anything, just do it. That's that's what we need. It's those basic inclinations to just present yourself as a human, fellow human person living through the difficulties of life and say, look, I want to give you a hand, and being able to just also take the rejection of maybe someone who's not as secure to receive that help from you at that time. But you have to just keep doing that. And I think we've made our systems and our businesses and everything we do so complicated that we forget that, just sort of turning around and saying, hey, what do you need, and I can give you a connection or something like that. So a lot more of that, if it comes back, that would be a lot better. I don't think picking thematic elements and pushing people to share or doing anything right now is a good idea. It's more, I'm here for you, this is what I have. And so if we talk about companies, a lot more transparency would be nice. Less of packaged collaterals that people like me are very good at doing, but we know where the real value is and isn't. And so it's a lot of shifts in that way. I mean, in one way that we're doing it is, instead of talking about tasks with some colleagues or the youth board, for example, we just do it right then and there. And that show of that I'm here for you, and even though I don't see you and I'm not in office with you, I don't get to be there with you. Uh, Come with me in time, come with me in the existence that we have, and let's be just very humbly appreciative that we can be here together. And I really try to be very granular about that. And I think as a female, it's also easier maybe in some ways to be more caring. But it's I need to do more of it. That's what I've learned now, and that's hard on a lot of people. So one thing I've seen is people can't keep it up. But maybe together we can, So who knows?
Okay.
Yeah.
And I mean, now we have as operating system an economy that is mostly profit oriented.
Hmm.
So, what do you think needs to happen that we get towards an economy that is more oriented towards that we care for each other?
I think um, I think again, it's creating a buffet of options that people can human beings can engage in, right? As human beings first, and the world created these options, for example, in tech media, with Facebook and social channels and so on. I was one of the first few people who although I use social channels to generate leads, I never used emotional marketing as a system. I never believed in it because I come from a family of medical professionals. And if I were to do that, I would undo the work of all the neuroscientists and the neurosurgeons in my family, and all of those who were fighting for Ayurvedic treatment, cannabinoid treatment to psychedelic treatment, versus typical pharma-driven agendas. And I've been part of that pharma-driven agenda since I was a child. I used to do the medication stock, and I used to always ask questions like, why this medicine versus this? This has kidney failure as a side effect. Why are we giving it to the world, mommy? And I was a very irritating kid. um, so I think, I mean, if we don't become clearer, essentially, we're not giving people options. We're doing the same thing again and again. It's a real struggle. For us with TACTHUB, we want to turn 70-30 into our contributions to youth, to talent development, to youth talent development. And that doesn't mean we're giving up on the Gen Xers or the baby boomers or anybody else. No, that's not the point. We just have to reconfigure how we work, and we want more peer-to-peer sponsorship rather than just mentoring. We've worked with quite a bit of mentoring entities, and we find that not to be our business. If we were interested in marginal earnings with, you know, IP sharing and all this kind of stuff, then maybe that would be our business, but we didn't want to do that. So there's nuances that have to shift with our rule. So 70% going into the development of that, and that's a new profit structure, but it was before a personal home savings structure. You know, spend 70% of your income, live a certain level of life, and then spend that on, you know, education and self-enrichment as a human being to improve your skills and stuff, and 30% save it. And that was an old rule. But now I see a lot of event entities also taking this approach of just directly giving profits back. For us, the challenge will be, of course, then eventually to be able to actually share our financials openly, like some funds do it, and you know, they use different metric quantifiers, but we should be able to at least show that as some way, even though we're very small. How do we actually do it? So if we don't improve on these transparent ways of building business models, and if we don't shorten the learning, you know, for people to be able to do that, then that's going to be really difficult, because every cohort you join, there's an agenda. Swimming through that agenda and getting that basic level of learning is insane. You know, if you could just walk down all the ventures in Palo Alto alone, you'll be gobsmacked, and at the end you feel incapable, confused. You know, the same things again. It's just a bad vicious cycle. So I really want to see a lot more companies put up, like, you know, maybe a letter, annual letter from the owner saying, this is why we're doing this, this is what we're doing, and we are moving this amount of money to this, or we're trying this business model out. If you'd like the idea, come join us. Here's your profit margins, here's mine, here's, you know, something to that point. Otherwise, this distrust is going to continue. At least that's what we're learning with our youth board. There's huge distrust, and that's directly becoming mental health issues and directly becoming dependencies on our medical systems. So I think transparency gives people hope.